Your reputation doesn't belong to you. What others think of you is their business, not yours. Focus on being virtuous, not popular. Chapter 1. The Weight of Reputation. In a world where social media amplifies public opinions, the concept of reputation has morphed into a double-edged sword, wielding immense power over individuals' lives and choices. This chapter begins by dissecting the weight of reputation, how it is constructed, perceived, and often misperceived by those outside ourselves. Our reputations are not merely reflections of who we are. They are influenced by a myriad of external factors, including societal norms, cultural values, and situational contexts. This external influence begs the question, why should we place so much importance on something that ultimately doesn't belong to us? Reputation is often equated with popularity, leading many to prioritize others' opinions over their own values and virtues. This chapter illustrates the pitfalls of such prioritization through case studies of individuals who compromise their principles for the sake of public approval. Consider a young professional who, in pursuit of accolades, begins to cut corners in their work. Initially, they may be celebrated for their results, but the long-term impact on their integrity and fulfillment is detrimental. The narrative encourages readers to reflect on their own lives. How often have we altered our behavior to fit into the expectations of others? The realization that reputation is essentially public perception, a construct of others, pushes individuals to reconsider the way they approach self-worth and fulfillment. Additionally, the chapter introduces the concept of virtue, arguing that virtues should be the focal point of personal development. By steering our energies towards cultivating qualities such as honesty, kindness, and integrity, we can redefine success on our own terms. This focus encourages a shift from seeking external validation to nurturing a rich internal landscape. Living virtuously fosters resilience against the judgments and opinions of others. When we are grounded in our values, external critique holds less sway over our sense of self. Ultimately, this chapter lays the groundwork for understanding that our reputations may exist in the minds of others, but they do not belong to us. By shifting our focus towards virtuous living, we can free ourselves from the weight of others' perceptions, allowing for a more authentic existence rooted in integrity and self-acceptance. Chapter 2. The Nature of Public Opinion. Public opinion can be a fickle and unpredictable entity, influenced by trends, gossip, and the subjective experiences of others. This chapter explores how public opinion is constructed and how it can shift dramatically based on context, media narratives, and cultural trends. It posits that the constantly changing nature of public opinion underscores the futility of basing one's self-worth on what others think. To illustrate this point, the chapter presents various historical examples where individuals faced drastic shifts in public opinion, sometimes within a matter of days or weeks. A once celebrated public figure can find themselves vilified overnight due to a single misstep or a media frenzy. These examples serve as a reminder of the ephemeral nature of reputation. What is popular one day may be condemned the next. This constant flux reveals the absurdity of allowing public opinion to dictate personal identity and worth. Moreover, the chapter delves into the psychology of consensus. Humans are social beings, wired to seek acceptance within their communities. However, this need for approval can lead to conformity and compromise of one's values. The text challenges readers to examine their desire for acceptance and highlights the importance of standing firm in one's beliefs, even when it risks disapproval from others. The narrative emphasizes that true courage lies in being true to oneself rather than chasing an illusory consensus. The chapter also touches upon the role of social media in shaping public opinion. With the rise of platforms where opinions are freely expressed and amplified, individuals are often bombarded with conflicting messages and judgments. This environment can exacerbate feelings of inadequacy and insecurity. The lesson here is clear. While we must engage with the world around us, we should remain anchored in our values, not swayed by the ever-changing tides of public perception. In conclusion, This chapter reinforces the idea that public opinion is, at best, a reflection of the collective thoughts of others, thoughts that can be transient and uninformed. By disentangling our self-worth from public opinion, we can reclaim our power and choose to focus on being virtuous, authentic, and true to ourselves. Chapter 3. The Virtue of Authenticity. As we navigate the complexities of reputation and public opinion, this chapter introduces the transformative power of authenticity. Authenticity is not merely about self-acceptance. It is about embracing and expressing our true selves with confidence and integrity. When we align our actions with our core values, we cultivate a sense of freedom that liberates us from the constraints of others' opinions. The chapter begins by discussing the inherent vulnerability that comes with authenticity. To be truly ourselves often requires courage, to show up as we are, without pretense or facade. Readers are introduced to stories of individuals who have bravely embraced their authentic selves, despite facing criticism or rejection. For instance, an artist who refuses to conform to mainstream trends may encounter backlash from critics, yet they yield a rich and impactful body of work that resonates with many. Such stories exemplify that while authenticity may not always garner immediate popularity, it often leads to profound fulfillment and connection. Moreover, this chapter delves into the inherent contradictions of seeking popularity at the expense of authenticity. By trying to please everyone, we dilute our individuality and ultimately create a facade that feels dissonant with our true selves. The chapter challenges readers to consider the true cost of conformity, compromised identities, a lack of genuine connections, and an unfulfilled existence. The narrative posits that, when we prioritize authenticity over popularity, we invite deeper, more meaningful relationships into our lives. The text provides practical strategies for embracing authenticity, including self-reflection, honest communication, and cultivating a supportive community. The importance of surrounding ourselves with people who appreciate our true selves cannot be overstated. These connections can serve as a buffer against external judgment, encouraging us to remain anchored in our values. Ultimately, this chapter reinforces the notion that authenticity is an antidote to the burdens of reputation. By embracing our true selves, we not only liberate ourselves from the weight of others' expectations, but also inspire others to do the same. Authenticity fosters genuine connections based on mutual respect and understanding, creating a more compassionate and fulfilling existence. Chapter 4. The Practice of Virtue. After establishing the importance of authenticity, this chapter delves into the practice of virtue as a guiding principle for living a fulfilling life. Virtue is defined as a set of moral principles and values that guide our behavior and decisions. The chapter emphasizes that while reputation and public opinion are transient, cultivating virtues provides a solid foundation for a sustainable and meaningful life. The discussion begins by outlining key virtues: honesty, integrity, compassion, and humility, and their significance in shaping not only our actions, but also our character. By committing to these virtues, we align ourselves with what truly matters, prioritizing our ethics over external validation. Stories of historical figures who exemplified these virtues illustrate their transformative power, from civil rights leaders who championed justice to everyday individuals who embodied kindness and empathy. Virtue manifests in myriad ways and creates waves of positive change. Furthermore, the chapter discusses the process of cultivating virtue. It requires consistent effort, reflective practices, and a willingness to confront our shortcomings. Readers are encouraged to embark on a journey of lifelong learning, seeking wisdom from both successes and failures. The narrative emphasizes the importance of self-awareness and continuous growth. As we strive to embody virtues, we develop resilience against the fluctuations of public opinion, grounding ourselves in who we are rather than what others think. The chapter also emphasizes that practicing virtue invites others to rise to their own potential. When we embody our values authentically, we create a ripple effect within our communities. By demonstrating compassion and integrity, we inspire those around us to pursue similar virtues, contributing to a culture that values character over reputation. In summary, this chapter serves as a clarion call to live virtuously. By focusing on fostering our character, rather than chasing popularity, we can create a life rich in meaning and fulfillment. The enduring importance of virtue acts as a guiding light, illuminating our paths as we navigate the complexities of reputation, relationships, and self-discovery. Chapter 5. Freedom from Judgment. The final chapter in our exploration of reputation and virtue culminates in the essential realization that we can liberate ourselves from the relentless burden of judgment, both from others and from ourselves. This chapter serves as a powerful reminder that while the opinions of others may linger in our thoughts, we possess the ultimate authority to define our self-worth and identity. When we root our sense of self in integrity and virtue, we discover a pathway to true freedom, one that allows us to move gracefully through life, unencumbered by the ever-present shadow of judgment. The chapter begins by delving into the emotional implications of judgment, acknowledging the crippling effects it can have on our lives. Fear of disapproval impedes authentic expression, stifles creativity, and induces anxiety, often leading us to mask our true selves in an attempt to gain acceptance. The text illustrates this struggle through relatable anecdotes, stories of artists who censor their work out of fear of criticism, professionals who mute their ideas in meetings, or individuals who curtail their personalities to fit in. This pervasive fear highlights the irony. In our attempts to seek approval, we often betray our authentic selves, losing touch with our values and desires. In counterpoint to this fear, the chapter introduces the concept of resilience. Resilience is the ability to adapt in the face of adversity and bounce back from life's challenges. By cultivating resilience, we can challenge the inner dialogues formed by others' opinions, reframing criticism as an opportunity for growth rather than a definitive judgment on our worth. Encouraging readers to engage in reflective practices, such as journaling or meditation, the chapter guides them to confront their fears and recognize that the power of judgment often lies in our perceptions. A pivotal aspect of this chapter is the exploration of self-compassion. Self-compassion entails treating oneself with the same kindness, care, and understanding that we would offer a good friend. When we embrace self-compassion, we create an internal safe haven that protects us from the harsh voices of self-judgment. The chapter outlines key strategies for practicing self-compassion, including mindfulness, being present with our feelings without judgment, and self-kindness, acknowledging that imperfection is part of the shared human experience. These strategies encourage readers to recognize that everyone faces challenges, and making mistakes is not a reflection of personal failure, but rather a universal aspect of growth. The narrative then transitions to the recognition that often judgment stems from misunderstanding. When we internalize the fear of judgment, it is primarily a reflection of our issues with self-acceptance. By understanding that everyone has their own struggles, insecurities, fears, and vulnerabilities, we foster empathy both for ourselves and for those around us. The chapter discusses how cultivating empathy leads to a more profound understanding of our shared humanity. When we view others' judgments through a lens of compassion, we can dismantle the fear they produce, realizing that others are often reacting from their own uncertainties and biases. This chapter also emphasizes the need to reorient our relationships with those around us. The importance of a supportive community, which nurtures our authentic selves rather than undermines them, cannot be overstated. The text discusses the value of connection, encouraging readers to surround themselves with individuals who uplift and inspire them, those who appreciate their true selves rather than the persona crafted to meet external expectations. These relationships not only provide a buffer against external judgment, but also reinforce the idea that we are worthy of love and respect as we are. Furthermore, the chapter invites readers to embrace vulnerability as a pathway to freedom. Vulnerability often evokes fear. We worry about exposing our truest selves. However, true strength lies in the act of being open and authentic, allowing ourselves to be seen in our entirety. Sharing our thoughts, feelings, and experiences fosters deeper connections and fosters understanding. As we embrace vulnerability, we gradually diminish the power that judgment can hold over us. The chapter culminates in an empowering conclusion that reiterates the essential message: our reputation doesn't belong to us, nor should we allow it to dictate our self-worth. By grounding ourselves in the practices of self-compassion, resilience, and authenticity, we can break free from the suffocating constraints of judgment. When we embrace who we are, flaws, vulnerabilities, and imperfections included, we affirm our own humanity, allowing us to engage with the world in an authentic and impactful way.